Alright, what's going on, guys? Obviously, we know stealing things is wrong, but it does happen from time to time. That being said, today we're going to be talking about something you never expect to get stolen, which is an entire house. I guess some dude in Michigan woke up to his cabin gone. Let's go.
Quiet now, lay low when you reach zone, wiping down, making out, stack the bread, 'cause you're
Alright, so like I said, you never expect an entire house or an entire cabin to be stolen. I feel like that's an insane amount of dedication from the thief, and also just something I would never even think about being stealable, dude. Call me crazy. If I was walking through the woods and saw a cabin, my first thought isn't, hey, I bet you I can totally disassemble that and put it in my backyard. My thought is, oh, that's a cabin. Entire cabin reported stolen in Michigan. What's wild to me, dude, is the person whose cabin got stolen had to have been insanely confused when they came back to visit. I'm assuming since the cabin got stolen, it wasn't like their main house. It probably was like a hunting cabin or something. But that being said, imagine how confusing it would be to like drive 3 hours up north into your state, dude. You're looking for your cabin. You get to your land. You see where the cabin used to be, but it's not there. And you're like, am I tripping? Am I on the wrong piece of land? Or did somebody steal my cabin? How long do you think this guy searched around his property before he finally was like, I've got to call the cops because I think somebody stole my house? He called it into 911. Someone stole my house. Sir, were you living in your car? No, the entire building is gone. Michigan State Police investigators are seeking the help of the public to locate an unusual piece of stolen property, an entire cabin. The Michigan State Police Houghton Lake Post said the 12 by 28 foot cabin was originally located in Cold Springs Township. That's a very large building to just make disappear. I mean, obviously a cabin is a lot less permanent than a house, but that being said, 12 by 28 feet is like an impressively large building to just make disappear without anybody noticing. I also love that they're asking residents to be vigilant, and be on the lookout. What? Did your neighbor just put in a new cabin that looks exactly like the one that went missing? I'm assuming if they're out there dismantling the cabin, putting it in the back of their truck, and moving it piece by piece to their property, they're also probably smart enough to, paint the cabin or change some stuff so it doesn't look exactly like it, or at least I'd hope so. I guess I wouldn't be surprised. Sometimes in stories like this, you are flabbergasted because it'll be like the guy 2 houses down just rebuilt it the exact way that it was on his property. Either way though, man, I just don't really know why you would even think of stealing a cabin. I mean, obviously, if you know it's possible, I guess, I could get a free cabin out of this. But at the other time, it just seems like so much work to steal a cabin, dismantling it log by log. At that point, why don't you just go out into the woods and chop down some trees and make it yourself? Am I wrong? If you're already able to dismantle a cabin and sneakily steal it, then you also should be able to just build your own cabin. I'm not understanding how these two skills aren't related. Maybe they're not actually good at being a lumberjack. They've just absolutely perfected the art of reverse Lego setting. So they just look at a cabin like a giant Lego set that they have to reverse engineer and then rebuild or something. I don't know, man. I still don't understand how a cabin goes missing. I do feel really bad for the person whose cabin it was, though, dude. Nothing would be a crappier feeling than waking up and realizing your house is gone. And, even if it's not their main house, you're like, a nice relaxing weekend up in the woods, maybe you're doing some fishing, maybe you're just relaxing, whatever it is you do. You go up there and your cabin that you work hard for and use as your weekend retreat is just gone. It's literally just nowhere to be found. I still don't know if I would assume someone stole it first. I would assume that I had some type of brain fart and just pulled onto the wrong piece of land. I just my brain would never go to somebody stealing the entire cabin. Maybe that's why I don't have a cabin. I don't live anywhere where people have cabins, but I would assume I was the idiot if I pulled up onto a piece of property and my house was missing, because why would you assume somebody just came in the middle of the night and took it? The MSP said the owners of the cabin recently reported it was missing, presumed stolen. The cabin is believed to have been taken sometime between November 18th and December 16th. I mean, okay, obviously, I understand that the police probably don't have very good training on when to tell when a house was stolen. That being said, that's a mighty wide time range. I don't know, somewhere between and then gives a month range. Like, oh, okay, why did you not report this sooner? Why am I only hearing about this in February if the cabin got jacked back in November? And even then, is this just like a guesstimate? Is there any science behind why they believe it was stolen then? I'm also gonna venture out and say that if the cabin's been stolen for like, I don't know, 4 months now, and nobody's seen it and nobody's reported it, I'm going to assume that whoever stole the cabin probably did do a good job of disguising it or hiding it somewhere, just because it seems like not many people are taking the chance to help you out figure out where it is, probably because they don't know. I don't know, man. I still can't believe somebody out there had the know-how to go take an entire cabin. I feel like this has to be a situation where they know the dude. I have no reason to have, like, an inkling to that, other than the fact that, like, I don't know, they had to have known the cabin was empty. They had to have known the person wasn't going to be checking on it for a while. They had to have known they were going to have time to dismantle the entire cabin and steal it. That seems to me like it had to have been a situation where they knew it was going to be alone for a prolonged period of time, because you never know if someone's going to pull up on Friday. It takes more than a day to take apart a cabin and steal it, I'm guessing. I don't know. I just feel like this entire situation is wild. I prefer my houses concreted to the ground, so if anyone steals it, they gotta do it the old-fashioned way. With lawyers. You know how all the NFT people are always comparing NFTs to, like, houses and stuff, you know? And they're like, well, eventually your mortgage is gonna be on the blockchain. This is the only time they're ever gonna be like, yeah, somebody can steal your house. They can't steal your NFT if you own it on the blockchain. I don't think many houses are being stolen on a daily basis. You just got to be careful with your cabins. You know, if you're a cabin collector out there, be on the lookout. Someone's been going through stealing them all. What is the process of, like, taking back the cabin if they do find it too? Like, if the other guy's got it built onto his property, hooked up to water and power and stuff, and, like, painted it, you know, the odds of them finding it are small. But if they do find it, like, do they just take it back? I don't understand how this works. Obviously, they would take it back. But, like, do they make him deconstruct it? Do they have to pay someone else to come out and deconstruct it? Is that his punishment? Great. Now that you've made it yours and improved it, you got to take it apart and take it back to where you found it, you know? It's kind of a weird situation, Trooper Matthew Scott, who's investigating the case, said Wednesday. At this point, the cabin is definitely not where it's supposed to be. There are different motives, but that's a detail we're trying to uncover. Alright, I think his motive here was that he really wanted a cabin. You know, I don't think the motive goes much deeper than that. Anyone who just loads up a trailer with the cabin and tows it out of there probably isn't thinking too much about the fact that they're stealing a house or that people are going to investigate it. They're just taking the cabin. You know, I'm not saying that's a great motive, but I feel like the more you try to be like, what's his game here? Trying to connect the strings on the yarn, you know, to like make this some worldwide conspiracy to steal a cabin and shuffle money to the cartels. Chances are it's just some dude who thought he could get away with stealing a cabin because nobody lived there anymore and he didn't think anyone cared. He didn't expect it to become like a giant news story where everyone's like, oh my gosh, did you see the cabin thief of northern Michigan? He's wild. Regardless, you know, this man's house is missing. Hopefully he can find it. That's gonna do it for the video, though, guys. I'll probably be uploading another one later today, so be on the lookout. If you enjoyed it, though, I'd appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section what you thought down below. And, of course, subscribe if you're new and turn on those notifications. If you really want to help me out, you can check out the intro song linked down below, along with a link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, or you could use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout. There's 2 more things you could do for me if you want. First, I'll put a link to my Spotify show in the top of the description. If you want to go listen offline or without gameplay, feel free to go do it. And last but not least, if you want to get yourself the coolest merch to ever exist, you can do so by visiting the link in the bottom of the description and getting the merch. And yeah, on that note, guys, I'm going to go figure out where this dude's cabin is. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.